Well, it's a new month. Actually, it's an old month, and we're just launching Pansy Notes, just beautiful collection. And I'll walk you through all the projects and products. And this is one of the cards that I'll be sharing with you. We'll get in close so you can see this. And you can see that on the front. And we open it up like that. And we open up like that. Wow, look at all of that. How pretty. Won't you please come play with us? Well, as I said, I'm going to walk you through all of these products. There is a video on each of the items on the product page at paperwishes.com, of course, but let me just show you again. So I'm going to scoot these over and bring this in, and we'll always start with the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock. There are 12 sheets. They are all double-sided, and of course, because this is hot off the press, you are going to have a scrapbook page and a card idea on the back of the package. So that's always nice, but let me show you every single one of those sheets. And we'll start with this one. So you can see that the windows are down there and how beautiful that arch is. We've got some text over here. And on the back, we have a gingham. So that's going to come in handy. And this is the kind of a teal sheet. And you can see the birds and the butterflies all in with the pansies. And on the back of this, you have a kind of very collage-y distressed page. And here is another with that strong purple border. How pretty is that? And then we have an all-over pattern on the back. Now we do have a kitty and butterflies again in the playing in the pansies, and some text in the back, and then we have a beautiful blue on the back side. These are kind of ghosted back, which just really makes it a beautiful setting. Now these are the large cutouts, and as you can see, there's 2, 4, 6, 2 borders, and on the back of this we have this beautiful gold. Isn't that gorgeous? And then these are the cutouts that are for greetings, and just to give you a complete set of this paper collection. And most of them have greetings on them. Some of them just have the art, and then you can overlap them, or you can stamp on them, you can do dazzles, you can do whatever you like. And on the back of this, there is that beautiful pansy layout. So, as you know, as I said, there are 12 sheets. You get two of each one. And there are also 52 cutouts, so all of those that you saw. Now, I did tell you that there is a card on the back, and this is what it looks like. And that is a portion of that one sheet that we saw. And isn't that sweet? This also has a piece of the chipboard and some of the cutting dies. So I will be sharing that with you. And this is what the scrapbook page looks like. How neat is that? So it's putting the putting the photographs on oval mats cut with our cutting dies, and then backing on this sheet with a solid under it. And you can see that this is from the cutting die, from the die cuts, from the chipboard, all sorts of things going on in there, but how beautiful that is. And this is Debbie's mother, so that's nice. And so I'll put these aside, and then I want to show you all of the colors that you're going to get in the solid collection. Again, you're going to get 12 sheets, you're going to get 12 colors. This is how we do it. There's the purple on one side, and then it's a lighter purple on the other. Here is the gold, and on the back it is a yellow. This is kind of a medium green, and we've got kind of a sagey green on the back side. There's a blue with a very light blue on the back. We have a brown with cream on the back side. And then we have a lavender with kind of that tealy green on the back of that. Again, you will receive 2 of each sheet, and they're going to perfectly match, and that's what so many of you absolutely love. Now, I'm going to bring in the die cuts, and the die cuts have 31 pieces. Again, there are cards on the back to show you close up some ideas. And let me just show you the 2 sheets. They are each different, and they are just going to pop right out. So this is going to work nicely. Like the cutouts, most of them have greetings, but many of them also have just the art, so that you can overlap them, you can add dazzles, you can add whatever you like. So there are the 2 pieces, and that's quite a value for the price. Now we also have the 6 by 6. Now I'm not going to go through these because You just saw all of the papers, but they are squished down to 6 by 6. You're going to get four of every single sheet, a total of 24 papers, and then a total of 104 cutouts. So that's just absolutely smashing. And then we have the die cuts, the cutting dies. There you go. There are 11 of them, including that lovely large envelope and some flowers, so the spray of flowers, pansies of course, and then some individual pansies that you can layer. And we have a bird with a layered wing, and then we also have a spray of just leaves. So quite a wonderful collection, and you can see the sizes up here, so that works out nicely. And lastly, we have chipboard, and our chipboard is right here, and the chipboard is a 6 by 6 sheet. There are 13 pieces, including May Your Day Blossom, and you can see, I think we'll get in just a little bit closer. You can see the detail where we etch in each of the pieces. It just makes it so much easier to color them in, and or whatever you want to do with them. So you can see this piece, we have a spray going here, another one there, some smaller pieces, butterflies, and of course our little bird. So all of that is for you. And as always, there is a card idea on the back. So that works perfectly. Okay, let's get into our projects. And I like to start with kind of the simplest first. And this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card. And Debbie first covered it with a solid, and it is, of course, this kind of gold solid, as you can see. And then she did take one of the sheets, and it's the one that has the kitty in it. So let me show you right there. And she used this top corner. Now, you would normally see that butterfly, but she's done something special with that butterfly. So she just cut this piece smaller than the card. And then she went in with a blade. This is our retractable penknife, and cut around the right wing of that butterfly and lifted it up. And it just gives a bit of dimensions pretty easily. Now, when you go to cut that, you do want to put your paper on a self-healing cutting mat. I would not recommend you putting it on your dining room table or anything else where it's going to get cut, but just go right around that. Don't worry, don't drive yourself crazy going in these little ins and outs. Just go smoothly right around that, but just the right-hand side, push it up. And when you get to this piece, which is one of the cutouts in the package, in fact, here it is. The Earth Laughs and Flowers, and that's a really nice size. And you'll notice it's already matted, so we do that for you also. Now, if that matte color doesn't suit what you're using it for, just trim it off, but we provide that for you. And you can see that Debbie just slipped it right under that butterfly and glued it in place. And then, as I said, she has done some of the chipboard. So just let me show you what it looks like before it's been colored. And Debbie used the markers, so the markers just work really well. However, when you have a larger area, you can certainly use the ink pads, and these are the Prism ink pads from Hunky Dory. This is violet, and just dab it on with a finger dauber or a blending tool, and then come back and add your green. You can see that that bird has several different colors on him, and this butterfly and that little spray of leaves are all part of the chipboard. Now we'll go inside. And this is having a couple of things going on. So the back area is this part of the sheet. So we use this area on the front, so you can use any of those for the back. In fact, she has just used, I think just right here, and just simply cut it just slightly smaller than her card, glued it in place, and then she went back and used one of the large cutouts, this particular one, and glued that in place. Now this has a kind of a ragged edge on the art, but there's a straight line right next to it. So that's all you're cutting out is that straight line. You know, let's make this easy for us. So that's right here, and more of the chipboard. So you can see that tall spray of the pansies. May your day blossom, and a little tiny flower right there, and then another butterfly right there. Again, all done with the ink pads or the markers, either way, and just glue them flat, and that just works perfectly. So there we go. We have our birds in the front and on the inside too. Okay, that's our first card. Now let me show you what else is going on. Now this is the card that I showed you in the beginning, and I'm going to take my Post-it notes off because that's reminding me of some dimensions to share with you. This is another way that you can use those large cutouts, and isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. But the thing that you have to do on this card, I'm going to open it up again, and you need to create this piece, okay? And you can use any of the cardstocks for it. You can see that she's got the plaid, and then she did back it with white, so that was her choice. This is 5 inches long by 2 inches wide, okay? So you want to make that first and then score it so that you have this 3 inches coming out here. And then you can glue it on the inside of the card. That way, when we put the papers down, all of that is covered up. Okay, so that's the very first step, is that 5 by 2 inch piece. You're going to score it at 3 inches. That's 3 inches. And then glue the rest of it down. Okay, so once you have that done, we're going to go back to the front of our card and taking this, and this is, as you probably saw just a minute ago, another one of the beautiful large cutouts, just absolutely pretty stunning. And that has been matted twice. First on an iridescent. Do you see that shimmer that's going on? Okay, well this is the iridescent sheets, and the company that we get them from is out of Holland. They call them sparkling sheets, but we really just thought iridescent was just much better descriptive of what these are. So you get a whole bunch of colors in one package, and then Debbie has used them to mat this, and you can see that's a very narrow mat. And then she matted it a second time on the dark purple. So that is right here. And then she glued that to this little flap. Now, as you can see, the flap has a piece of the purple, which is right here, okay? And that's on the back side of the sheet that she used in the very first project. Okay, so you get that all attached. Now, the thank you is from the die cuts. So here we go. The thank you is just right there. And again, just pop it off. She did foam tape it here. She did put it on a piece of the solid purple that's a little bit longer, and that way she could put some more dazzles. We'll come back to the dazzles in a minute, okay? Now we're going to go to the front of the card. I'm not going to talk about that yet, okay? So the front of the card has that gingham all over it. So just simply cover that card and attach the gingham. And then she used this strip. Now this strip is about 2.5 inches wide after it's torn, okay? So this is the paper. It's on the back side of the cutouts. And the best way to do that is really go ahead and cut it, but cut it about 1 inch wider. So this is 2.5. I'd make it at least 3.5. That way it's going to be easier to tear each of those sides. And she did do a little bit of inking going with that violet ink pad, just rubbing it along the edge. So that worked nicely. A warm thank you. Well, the warm thank you is from the die cuts, and let's see. Here it is. A warm thank you is right there. Again, a very nice, generous size. And that is simply glued down flat. Now we're going to get into the dazzles. And the dazzles that she chose are the Fancy Border Pearl and Pastel. So the one that she chose is this pinky purpley pearl. And the pearl is such a wonderful finish because it's very, very sturdy. I'm going to lift, oh, let's see, I'll lift one of these up. And you can see it just lifts up beautifully. And she did use that little scallop. Let's see, it must be on another sheet. So there are 2 sheets in there. And you can see over here and over here, she's got the scallop going to the outside. And then she took another piece of another sheet and just have a little piece right down here just to kind of finish that. Okay, now I think that that's the front of our card, so we've certainly done this area. And you can see that she did a little bit of a cutting off the dazzles just to get a decorative element on each side of the thank you. So that worked nicely. Okay, now we're going to the inside. And this card is different in that all 3 sections have been decorated, so very nice. One thing to know and to notice is that on each of these 2, you can see a tiny bit of the white card around it. And that's done intentionally because you want to have the papers cut slightly smaller so that they are not overlapping that score line in the middle, okay? So a plaid, again, is making an appearance, and this is that same piece that was used right here. So that is covering it. And once again, she went back into the large cutouts. And let me see. Well, I guess I don't need to show you because we've already seen it a couple of times, haven't we? That this is the this basket. And there it is. So far we've done this one, and this one. But isn't that just make a beautiful set? Now again, she's double matted it. So there's the iridescent. And there is the dark purple. When I first saw that, I thought it was black, and I was surprised because there's no black in the solids, but it is the dark purple, so that kind of keeps our purple theme going. Now here and here are part of the borders. Let me show you. We've got 2 borders, a green one, and then a brown one that has the pansies. So this is the brown one. And you can see that those dazzles, those fancy border dazzles on each side, just really frame it. There's No Friend Like You, that's out of the cutouts. And then All My Love, that is one of the die cuts. And then we're going to go over here. So you can see the smaller piece of this same paper that was used on the front has been placed here and glued in place. And this is the one of the die cuts. Now, I didn't tell you in the beginning, did I? And I must apologize for that because this piece that this was matted on has the light purple on the back and the dark purple on the front. That's one of the great benefits of the double-sided solid cardstock. And when you do that, you have another element to decorate. So the green border is what she used here, there and there. Again, the dazzles right in place. The Just For You is right there. So it just has a really fun closure and just kind of a wonderful surprise as you're going through this. Just beautiful. And you know, all it took was that extra 5" by 2" piece of cardstock to get glued down first. And it just makes a beautiful set. You're going to want to remember that technique, I think. At least I will. Okay, here is the next card. That Debbie has been very busy. And this again is our 5" by 6.5", but stuff is going on. In fact, I hope you're watching carefully. This is a gatefold card, which means that the card was laid out flat and then scored 2.5 inches each on each end. And those were folded into the middle, okay? Now, I want to show you what's happening on the inside here before we go any further. You ready? Look at that. How fun is that? And how easy. Our Debbie has been busy. And isn't that a beautiful spray going through there? That's with the cutting dies. Okay, I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute, but let's get back to the front of the card, okay? All right. Now, this, as I said, is the regular 5" by 6.5", and Debbie has taken this sheet as she is, okay, here we go. Now, on her card, as I said, you have your card flat. The score line is there. You're going to measure in 2.5 inches on each side because that's half of the card front. Score those and then fold them in. Then you have this opening, this gate opening. Now she has first covered her card with this kind of darker green, and so that's been covered. And then the clever woman went to the 6x6, and this sheet, you remember it in the 12x12, but she's used it in the 6x6. And look what she's done. Now this is too wide to cover this because this is 5 inches, this is 6. However, look what she's done. She simply glued this on half and then glued this on the other half, and that removed a center section, but visually those two connect, and I think it's really clever and really nice. So good job, Debbie. Now, the arch is one of the cutouts from the 12x12. So let me bring that in. So this is the one of the ones that doesn't have any of the greetings. So just trim that out. She did mat it on a purple glitter cardstock. So I've got some pieces in there just to let you see that shine. And then she attached the left side of this piece to the left gate, okay? And that's all you want to do is just do half of it. The sending a blessing, that is from the die cuts. And notice how that is overlapping. So this is visually and actually right in the center of the card. And I forgot to say, when she matted it, she did use the arch cutting dies. Isn't that pretty? And just nicely. Okay, so that's done. Now, then she will go to the cutting dies. And you can see cutting die has this very large spray of leaves. This is 3 3/4 inches long. And it does a beautiful job of just being right here. You can do it right there. And then she placed some of the pansies. Now the pansies are have an inner area. So we're going to get in close so that you can see. And so what she did is she cut out the pansies in the dark purple as well. Let me get a little piece in here. So the center area is out of the dark purple, and the bigger area is out of the light purple. And doesn't that work beautifully? So let me just show you those dies. You can see there's actually 3 sizes, and that center area will fit on 2 of them. And then she just did a little yellow dot, and that just worked really nicely. So you can see that the pansies are in the art up there, same colors, and she's just made them larger, kind of coming toward us in this card. Beautiful. And I think that glitter is just the right amount of shine. Okay, let's go to the inside of this card. And let me show you what the woman has done. Okay, again, going back to the sprays, and that's actually a good way for you to see it. So there's one, and you can just see there's another coming out, another going in, another going out. So just beautifully done. And she's done them all out of the same color cardstock. Now, for the inside, she's done a couple of different things. She covered the inside totally with that darker green, like what she used on the card front. And then she cut this kind of texture looking, and that's on the back of one of the green sheets that Paula is frantically looking for and almost not finding. Okay, you'll bear with me. Okay, you saw it in the opening, didn't you? But what we have right now are these two and how she made them happen. So I'm just going to lift this up. I wonder if you can see that. Okay, so there is a piece of cardstock in there, and it's the same size on both. Well, that's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Let me try it this way. There we go. It's still hard to see, isn't it? So it's right there in the corner. Doot, 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 right there. And this one's doot, 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 right there. Okay. So what they are in size, are you ready? 4 inches by 1/2 inch. 4 inches by 1/2 inch. And then you score it at every 1 inch length, okay, at every 1 inch increment. So you're going to have 3 score lines. Then you're going to fold them all, and you're going to get a piece like this as you fold it. Now what happens is that this is going to get glued into your card, and you can do it however you want to. Might be easier to, you do want to have it right next to the score line, so glue that down, and then this part is going to get glued onto the card itself. You can see why I didn't want to put any glue on here. Okay, so you're gluing it down and you're gluing it against the card. So the card at the bottom and the card at the side. And wherever you decide to put it, obviously that's where your piece is going to be. Now this is narrow, and it will hold these larger pieces quite easily. And you can see how nice that is. So she has elected to have 2 of them. They are exactly the same size, even though these 2 pieces are different sizes. So that worked out nicely. Now, may your life bloom with courage. That is out of the cutouts. That's part of the 12 by 12. The happy birthday and celebrating you, that's part of the die cuts. So that is just going to work very nicely. So our happy birthday is right there, as you can see. And the celebrating you is right there. All that series of small greetings works really, really nicely. And those both have the purple matting, so that just works nicely. But I have to say, I love this spray, absolutely love it. And you can see there's some inking that was done too, so that these areas, she didn't cover them with the solid, but she just did some inking, and probably with the khaki ink pad, I would imagine. Okay, so that goes, you just want to make sure to get those both going, and then you can close it easily. How gorgeous is that? Okay, now got another gorgeous one for you, and here it is, and it has a surprise on the inside. But let's start with our card front, and this is using again, it's a 5 by 6.5 inch card. Yes, we are stuck on that size. And what she has done is she has taken this sheet, the first sheet, and you can see that beautiful spray of pansies, and she has covered the front of the card with that. And she's not worrying about the fact that this is trimming off. That's fine, but she is capturing that little spray right there. And so that is what she used first on the front of her card. Now I'm going to have to show you the inside for this to make sense. So are you ready? We've got another surprise inside, and here it is. Look at that. Did you hear it? So this has a different kind of pop-up that is done with a cutting die. But before I get to that, I do want to just bring to your attention that in the front of her card, she used this upper area, and also on this card. Now she's done this on 3 of these, 3 of the 4 cards. She has covered both the inside of the card and then also the inside of the front of the card. So that just makes quite a statement, don't you think? So these were on, the top part was on the front of the card. Then this is on the next area. And then this is from over here. So you can see that we always say that you can get 4 cards out of one 12 by 12 sheet, or you can use all of the areas on one. It's kind of what she's done. So really, really fun. Okay, let's look at what she has done, how she has made this mechanism. And of course, this is done with a cutting die. It happens to be called Clever Twist, and it makes that twist. Now, Debbie has made 2 of them, and I'm not sure if I've seen that before, but I'll show you what how to do just one of them. So here is the cutting die, and it's 3 pieces. I've got all of these pieces in here. Okay, now what I want to show you is exactly how to do this. You know, I'm not going to pull these out because I'm going to show you the pieces that they cut. So there's going to be a rectangle that's scored in the middle. There's going to be this piece, and some things are going to happen to this. And actually, I'm going to show that to you on another piece. Yeah, there it is. So here's that piece that I just showed you. And I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to show you the directions right here. So get my little note off. So you can see that here is the piece, and it looks interesting, doesn't it? But what the directions tell you to do is to put extra sticky tape on the tabs, and then on each side of the center area. Then you're going to fold these, and this is telling you that this is going to be a valley fold on the center, and then on these areas they're mountain folds. Okay, mountain folds go up, valley folds go down. And then when you do that, so like these are the same, these are the same, and this is the same. And then when you have it flat and you twist it, it's going to go like this, just like that, because all of those are taken care of. So it just works perfectly. Then you're going to take, and I have a little demonstration here for you. You're going to take and place it like so. So you can use 1/4 inch, 2 pieces of 1/4 inch extra sticky tape, or just a 1/2 inch, whichever you like. But you place it like this, okay? So that this is showing on the left side. Then you're going to take your card, your little piece here, and you're going to attach it there. And then you're going to attach it onto the back side also, just like that. And then what will happen when those are attached is my next step. So here's what will happen. So as I open this up, it's going to twist, just like that. Whoops, I've got it upside down. It's going to twist. That's going to twist as this opens, okay? So what's going to happen is that this point is going to be attached. Now what this is showing you is to attach it in the middle of your card next to, not overlapping, next to the score line. What Debbie did is she placed 2 of them, one at each end, having 2. So she would have done something like that. And what happens when you have this done is that you remove the tape here, position it exactly where you want it, then remove the liner and fold that over, and it captures both sides. Now, mine are not attached, but let me just give you an idea how this works. So I'm going to hold it. Well, maybe I'm not. Okay. Easier said than done while I'm holding this in the middle. Okay. So you can see that that will stay attached there. This will stay attached over here. And then when you open it, it spreads like that. Okay? Got it? And then you can put something on the top of that. So that's how it works. It's really easy. You just want to make sure that you have the directions with your cutting dies. And you know what? We take care of that for you because everything is in the package. Nothing gets lost. So you've always got your instructions so that when you go to make this, maybe it's been a couple months since you've made it, you just want to have that reassurance. So that's nice. Now, this die cut set, cutting die set, also has a label. And that label, let me pull a couple out to show you. Where are my labels? Okay. There they are. Okay. These labels is what she used right here, which is why I needed to open that up to show you, because otherwise this kind of didn't make any sense. There is the label. Isn't that pretty? The label can be used on the inside. Now, Debbie did not do that. She just used that rectangle that got folded, and she put the die cuts, and she put the little bird out of the cutting die, and pansies out of the cutting die. So, and look how she's got both of them. So that's really fun. Okay, now, I guess I'll stay right here and just go over this. So this is, remember that spray? Well, she's used it here. She's done more of the pansies like she did before. And this is that pocket. And that pocket is just really, really nice. Okay, I want to get all these pieces of the cutting die put back. And that's really something good to remember, because otherwise you can lose pieces and you will not be happy with yourself. Okay. So that wonderful little envelope, I predict, is going to be very, very handy. And in this one, she used that same dark purple that has the light purple on the inside. And all you do, let me just show it to you. So you've got two ends that are straight, and then you've got two pointed ends, okay? So these are the sides of your envelope. Two pointed and two flat ends, and you position it like this. Now, these are all scored, so that's taken care of for you. You want to bring the sides in, the bottom up, and then attach them, glue it. And if you want a complete envelope, you bring the top down. So the deal is sides in, bottoms up, top down. Or you can just do sides in, bottom up. You can tell I've done this multiple times over the years. But envelopes are just really nice. And look at what she did. She put that envelope there, and look at that nice size of the envelope. It is going to measure 2.5 inches at the widest point, which is very nice. She tore another sheet of the solid, and she put the thank you dazzles on there. And the thank yous come in a package with lots of different colors, including the gold. And this obviously is the cutting dies, as I said. And on the front, we're going to go back there. Hope you don't mind my jumping around a little bit. But remember, this is the label that goes from the die, and that goes right there. And then what she's done is she cut a little piece, and that is out of this area of the paper. So that's the area that she hadn't used. And she cut it, it's about 2¼ inches by 1½ inches. 2¼ by 1½ It's smaller than the label, of course. This is one of the die cuts, and look how those pansies are just surrounding that area. How pretty is that? And I think it was really neat that she did light and then the medium, or the lavender. So this is kind of the tan and lavender against the tan background. So it just worked really nicely and isolated the pansies and also this piece to really show them. So you've got a lot going on this card, and all going on quite beautifully, but I'm not quite done. Do you see that gold border at the top? Well, that is our new gold pearl fancy border dazzles. So there it is, and you can see that beautiful looping. These are a little bit wider. They're not as thin as the thin line. They are, oh, I'd say that's about a little over 1/4 inch. And then she also used it on the top and on the bottom on the inside of her card. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you really do see those. And it just adds just a beautiful finish to it. Okay, that's what we have for you today. Lots of goodies, as you can see. In fact, I think I'm just going to lay these out here because they are so unique. And even though I have buried them on this table, I guess we're only going to see, no, one more. Okay, so really just showing you how you can use the papers, and you can add cutting dies, you can add other elements. So that's just really, really beautiful. Okay, Pansy Notes. Now, Pansy Notes is live right now. We have already, let's see, let me show you some things that on the home page you will see the cutouts. Now we have this for you. These are out of the pieces from the patterned cardstock set. And you are able to download this and to cut them out, use them as often as you want. If you get our emails, you will get a link to this, so that's very nice. And if you are one of our VIP members, and what that means is that over the last 12 months, you have spent $500, and with that, you, before this webisode airs, you would have received 2 each of the 6x6 papers, and that way you can kind of get started. You get a code. Notice I don't have a code, and that will also come to you via the email. And what you do is use that code on your next order, and we will send those to you. So that's nice. Now, we have 2 money savers. We are going to be having 2 money savers every time we have a new collection, and you know we have one every single month. If you are interested in the collection, now let me just show you. I guess I do have to bring all of those back. Okay, let me organize this a bit. Okay, here we go. So we have 6 items in our collection every single month. And in those, you can get a subscription where you're going to get all of them. But if you don't want the cutting die, just in case you don't, we have a subscription for you. It's called I Want It All. And in that, we know that you want all of them, but not the cutting die. There's also a money saver for all of this, not including the cutting die. It's over on the right-hand side of your screen. You will save, if you have a subscription, you will save 20% off the retail. And when you get all of the product before the website, remember, there are ideas on the back of every single product. So that gives you kind of a step up. You can decide if you want to do that or how you want to change it. Lots of things. Now, if you want the whole collection, because why not? And especially with all the wonderful things you can do, we call it I Really Want It All. Same deal. You're going to save 20%. You're going to get it before the webisode. And you will get, we do 1 collection every single month. So at the end of the year, you'll have 12. And you'll have lots of ideas for using them. So that's what we do. And I wanted to show you this too. See, that is that envelope just going this way, and that's the brown and the tan on the other side. Just so many things you can do with this. Okay, so stop talking, Paulette, and get going. So this is the collection, Pansy Notes. I hope you like it. I have said before, I'm not sure that I said to you, but my grandmother had pansies on the sides of her driveway, and I always remember that in Pomona, California. So pansies have a dear place in my heart, and they're gorgeous. So all of this is available all right now, 2 money orders. And love to know what you think. There is an area for comments. Just scroll down. You have to keep scrolling quite a bit because you're going to see all the projects and so forth. By the way, there is a listing of all the products that Debbie used down there, and I did give you directions within the webisode, so that's where you're going to want to get those measurements for all of those neat things going on. Okay, I want to thank Debbie, as always, for being wonderfully creative and sharing her talent with us. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, we would really appreciate it if you would like us and subscribe to that. Then head on over to paperwishes.com, where this is the only place that you can get Pansy Notes, the only place that you can get this wonderful collection, the only place you can get these cutting dies also that I have shown you. So yeah, not a bad place to be. Okay, I want to thank you for being here, and most of all for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Okay, see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.